Welcome back. Let's now turn our focus to the Hindi Heartland. A total of 35 seats across UP, Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, Bihar, Chhattisgarh went to polls. The BJP-led NDA had won 34 of these 36 seats in 2019 Lok Sabha elections. The Congress had won only one seat, Kishanganj in Bihar. BSP candidate Danish Ali had won from Amroha. This time he fought on a Congress ticket. My colleague Abhimanyu and Danish Anand join us from Ghaziabad and Gautam Budh Nagar, respectively. Danish, to you first. Gautam Budh Nagar is a crucial seat in UP, which Mahesh Sharma has won for the last two terms. What are the key issues here?
The voters that were coming to cast their votes today, they told us about certain key issues which talked about the kind of registry issues that private flat owners are facing. Besides this, safety and crime were a bit other issues that the people have voted for. But overall, if we see the voter turnout, even this time has been around 60%, which is similar to the previous two elections. Even in the previous two elections, the overall total voter turnout was around 60%. Especially if you talk about Noida, even in Noida, the voter turnout came out to be near over 55%. So overall, we saw that in the urban areas, the voter turnout is kind of bit lower in comparison to the previous elections. But there was a high voter turnout in the rural areas, and it is expected that even this time, they're anticipating that the favourite candidate wins these elections.
Right. Let me now go across to Abhimanyu. Abhimanyu, you've been standing by in Ghaziabad all day. What's the chatter you've picked up from the ground? The voting percentage, as we're looking at Uttar Pradesh as of 5 p.m., is around 53%. How were things in Ghaziabad, where you've been standing?
Well, Ghaziabad has fared almost similar to the entire state. So the voting percentage at 5 p.m. was hovering somewhere around 50% itself. And the final figures are yet to come out. But of course, heat, would be a big factor as far as low turnout is concerned, which was a worry even in the first phase and will continue to be one. It would continue to possibly bother the Election Commission, which is taking ample steps, which is taking proactive measures to encourage voter turnout despite spread of heat waves. Speaking of specific assembly segments in the Ghaziabad Lok Sabha constituency, the city primarily has an urban electorate and is beset with civic problems like any other city. And of course, the vote would be influenced by issues pertaining to civic infrastructure, even if it does not fall within the purview of the centre or the Member of Parliament. As far as other segments are concerned, be it Loni, Muradnagar, Sahibabad, these areas are a mix of rural and industrial areas. So clearly, jobs would be a big focus. So would be alleviation of problems for MSMEs. As far as rural areas are concerned, the caste factor, of course, does come into account in some segments. But primarily, it's a mix and mash of many factors, be it jobs, be it civic problems, be it education, and be it development of more infrastructure. Because with the expansion of Ghaziabad as a satellite city to not just Delhi, but even Noida for that matter, the land rates had increased, they had skyrocketed, which had to a certain extent hindered the expansion of real estate even further. So that, of course, will continue to be a problem. And of course, as far as registration of new societies is concerned and problems pertaining to group housing societies, they, of course, increasingly in every general election as well as every state election have been the focus point, not just for the electorate, but even for the people, for the candidates who are seeking votes.
All right. Thanks, Abhimanyu and Danish, for joining us. Let me now go across to Sharat Pradhan, who's joining us from Lucknow. Mr. Pradhan, thank you very much for joining us. How do you think the battle is poised in these 8 seats? The BJP had won 7 out of 8 in 2019. The BJP has made some changes, replaced certain candidates because of anti-incumbency. How does the battle look for the ruling party?
Well, the changes that BJP has made is not because of anti-incumbency, it is because of extraneous reasons. And that is what is giving BJP a tough time on more than one seat this time. Let me tell you that one seat of Amroha, which was then in 2019 won by the BSP, whose candidate, who's sitting MP now, Danish Ali, has crossed over to the Congress and is the Congress candidate from that very constituency. And Mayawati, of course, because Mayawati is known to be siding with the BJP in one form or the other, and assisting the BJP in digging into the opposition vote. So she fielded candidates in each of these constituencies which would go to suit the BJP. As far as BJP is concerned, I can see BJP going in for a tough call even in Ghaziabad, where they removed General V.K. Singh, the former Indian Army chief, who was also a minister in the center, for no rhyme or reason. And that provoked a lot of Rajputs of the region to rise up in the arms against the BJP. And with that began a lot of Rajputs running right up to Rajasthan have been up in arms against the BJP because of the simple reason that instead of General V.K. Singh, the ticket has gone to a local moneyed businessman who is, for whatever reason, he doesn't have that kind of a background. Then in Meerut, BJP has really showing how pathetic its condition is because they couldn't get a candidate. And they're realizing that Meerut being the most important and the biggest city in that region, and also the most important constituency in that region, they had to handpick somebody like Arun Govil, who's a lost and forgotten actor, who did the lead role as Ram in Ramanand Sagar's famous serial Ramayana, way back 1987-88. Because the Ram Mandir is not working there, BJP had to take recourse to getting somebody who has played a role of Ram, a fake Ram. And to assist him comes a fake Sita, who played Sita. Now just imagine if BJP is so desperate that it's not able to get a good candidate in a city like Meerut, what must be its condition? I fail to understand. Because this poor Arun Govil has to introduce him. He's carrying, cutouts of his Ramayana serial, telling people that he's the same guy who played Ram way back in 1987. That reflects how the condition of the Bharatiya Janata Party in these places. Even in Aligarh, it's going to be a tough fight. But yes, there is no way that BJP can retain 7 of the 8 seats this time. It's pretty evident on ground.
Right. Strong views there, Mr. Sharat Pradhan. I'd also like to ask you, how do you think the opposition alliance has managed in terms of its campaign? Has the campaign had a strong impact? Voting was low in the first phase. It's around 50%, 54%, 55% today. How has the voter turnout been, according to you? We've been seeing a lot of BJP leaders going out, exhorting voters to vote in big numbers.
Well, the reports that I've got here now from these places is that there has not been so much enthusiasm among the RSS workers who otherwise go door to door. They go very aggressively. They get involved in bringing the voter to the polling booth. But this time, the reports from each of these places say that enthusiasm is lacking. So that also speaks of the poor polling. And generally, wherever there is polling, when it is left around 50%, it generally reflects that the enthusiasm of the ruling party is fading out. And so this doesn't speak well for the BJP, the low turnout, despite the fact that the Prime Minister went down to the level of making the whole narrative communal, so communal, which was never expected of somebody who calls himself Vishwaguru, swooping down to the level of talking about lies, that the Congress party is going to take away all your jewelry and the Mangal suits will be given away to Muslims, which is complete lies. And Yogi Adityanath and Amit Shah also repeat the same thing, like they're saying that the manifesto, in Congress manifesto, has mentioned that they would usher in a Shariat law, which is nonsense. No, there's not a word about it, and they cannot have it. So they are trying to. I don't know. It's only a person who's shaky, who's on a shaky wicket. He would stoop down to this level of trying to turn the narrative into a community. My reading is that Mr. Modi and his company did not realize on day one that when they talked about changing the constitution, and their number of their leaders talked about it, important leaders, and now they've gone back.
One more question of that I would have. Yeah, I have one more
Let me
question
just
about the
complete
larger
that.
Hindi
It is
Heartland.
only, it is,
Yeah, yeah.
can I just complete? It is only that realization dawned that this whole thing is this constitution, changing the constitutional business is proving to be counterproductive. Because when the Dalits rose up to say that they want to remove Ambedkar's constitution, that would even amount to removing the provision for reservation. Then they switched to they had no alternative. They went back to their old story.
Mr. Pradhan,
of
one
turning
final
the
question.
Communal. Yeah.
Yeah. One final question. Be the entire Hindi heartland, if we speak about, be it Chhattisgarh, be it Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, how do you think the party is going to perform here in Bihar? The opposition is putting up a tough fight. We have some interesting contests. How do you think the NDA will perform? How do you think the opposition perform across the Hindi heartland?
I have been to a couple of states in the Hindi heartland, Chhattisgarh, Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan. During the campaign, I was there for a couple of days in each of these states, and of course UP. The situation is that in most of these states, particularly Rajasthan, all 25 seats have been with BJP since 2014. Madhya Pradesh, barring one seat, the rest have been with the BJP. Chhattisgarh, only 2 seats had gone to the opposition. 9 out of the 11 seats were with BJP. So, in the Hindi and in Uttar Pradesh was the only place where they had scope of taking their tally beyond 62, which they got in 2019. Because UP has 80 seats. And here it seems to be a really uphill task to even retain what they had in 2019. So I don't see the Hindi heartland giving them, and Rajasthan, there are confirmed reports that there is tough fight on at least 10 or 11 seats out of the 25, and BJP may lose at least half a dozen seats. So there is no scope for increasing the tally there. Likewise, in Chhattisgarh, there is no way that BJP is going to retain all its 9 seats. Madhya Pradesh, maybe because Madhya Pradesh, there is a lot of infighting in the Congress. So Madhya Pradesh, BJP may just maintain where it is. So where do they gain? In UP, there is no chance. So the Hindi heartland doesn't seem to be going the BJP way in the manner that BJP would want, and which would fulfill Modi's dream of 400 par and things of Uttar par and all that stuff.
Okay. We've run out of time, but thank you very much, Mr. Pradhan, for joining us. With that, it's a wrap on our special broadcast. More news and updates continue right here on CNBC TV 18.